So you finally got yourself a big project that is going to be absolutely huge for your portfolio, and the client was able to give you some budget for this project. So you're probably looking at the budget thinking to yourself, hey, maybe I could rent a really sick camera to shoot this project on. Then you start thinking to yourself, wait, how do I go about renting a really sick camera? I've never used this camera before, and I'm gonna take the risk of shooting the biggest project of my life with a camera I've never used before. So what do? That's what we're gonna talk about right now. Let's get into it. So there's been a few instances now where I've ran into this issue where I finally get some budget and I think to myself, I'm gonna rent a really cool camera to shoot this project on, and I'm gonna make it look as legit and as high quality as possible, but then I'm kind of just stuck in the mud because I don't know how to go about renting the camera, and I didn't know how to even use that camera in the first place. All the information that I'm going to be talking about today is all based on personal experience. It's all stuff that I went through to rent really cool cameras for the first time. So for me, on pretty much any project where I ended up renting a really cool camera, I ended up making $0 on that project. And the reason I came out with $0 on that project is because I wanted to spend all the money on the production equipment rather than pocketing some extra change, because I knew that project was gonna be absolutely huge for my portfolio, and it was gonna be something that I could have on my website for years and years to come. So for me, putting all that money into renting a really expensive camera was money I was putting towards investing in myself, because again, I was making a really awesome project for my website. And number two, I was getting to use this gear hands-on, really understand how to use this equipment. So I was essentially paying for film school, paying for my learning opportunities. So let's get into some tips on how do you go about renting a really awesome camera for the first time. So first of all, you're probably gonna be wondering, what camera should you rent? In most cases, it's either going to be some type of RED camera or probably an ARRI camera. I have a handful of experiences with both ARRI and both RED, and personally, if I'm renting a really awesome camera for the first time, I'm going to rent a RED camera. Even though I like the picture out of an ARRI a little bit better than a RED, a lot of times when you're renting RED, it's going to be a little bit cheaper and easier to get your hands on a RED camera than it is going to be able to get your hands on an ARRI Alexa. Also, when you rent a RED, it comes pretty much built together. It's not as many pieces that need to be put onto the camera as an ARRI Alexa does. An ARRI Alexa doesn't come with like a super nice monitor that comes attached. It comes attached with that EVF that's really crappy and has that little flip out LCD screen. So you're gonna have to start thinking about worrying about, other things that go along with that camera, like monitors. And you're gonna have SDI cables running out of your camera. But when you're shooting on RED, you get that like super nice, like really big 7-inch screen that goes on top of the RED. You got your side handle, and it's just like an easier body to use if you're using like a bigger end camera for the first time. Both cameras are actually super intuitive to learn and to understand and to use, so I wouldn't really give a point either way to one of those cameras. I think they're both super easy to use, but just for what you get in the camera package when you're renting a RED, comes a little more put together, and it's a little more easier to use for a first time user. So you know what camera you want to rent, where are you gonna rent it from? So for me, I live right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and there are a few really good rental houses in my area. The one that I prefer to use is called Resolution Rentals, and at this rental house, they have a really great website where you can go on and check out all the gear that they have available, and you can see when it's available, you can see how much they charge per day for you to rent that equipment, and they tell you what's included when you're renting that specific camera, what's included in that package. Is it all the little nuts and bolts that you need to operate the camera? So look up rental houses in your area and see what cameras they have available, and see if they have the one that you want to shoot on, and see if that's available. So once you've identified a rental house that you're gonna go with, they have the equipment that you want and they're located near you, email that rental company, tell them that is going to be your first time renting this camera, and ask them if you can come in and check out the camera and kind of learn, how to use that camera for the first time. Don't be embarrassed. Everyone is new Everyone has to pick up a camera for the first time and learn how to use it before they become a master at that camera. No one at the rental house is gonna judge you for asking this question. They're gonna be more than happy to have you come in and check out that camera and learn how to use it. First time I was gonna rent a really big camera, I didn't do this and I was really like nervous, and I wanted to act like I've been there before, which is so stupid. Like, nobody actually cares that it's your first time. Like, the rental house just wants you to learn how to use it so you can be a returning customer if you like that camera and continue to rent it out from them. Say you're renting the camera out for a shoot on Saturday and Sunday, the rental house is gonna let you pick up that camera Friday evening, sometime around 5 before they close. So get in there Friday, ask questions to the people who work at the rental house, learn how to use that camera, and then take it home, spend all night Friday night learning how to use that camera. Go on YouTube, research, the beginner setup menu type videos for that specific camera, and really get to learn it before your shoot the next day. Because the last thing you want is to get on set the next day and not remember how to format a memory card, not remember how to change your ISO on set, not remember how to change your white balance, how to properly eject the memory card. So all those things are things that you're gonna wanna troubleshoot the night before. Another thing that's gonna be important to note when you're renting from a rental house, when you're renting equipment that has super high value, something like a RED camera that the face value of that camera is $40,000. The rental house isn't gonna let you take that camera out without some type of insurance. And the rental house is usually gonna ask you for a COI for you to take out that camera. And what a COI is a certificate of insurance. So if you're a beginner and you're renting these expensive cameras, you probably don't have insurance that's going to cover a $40,000 camera. So what you can do is go online and purchase short-term insurance, and that insurance is going to be able to cover you for that amount of time that you are using that rented camera for. Insurance company that was recommended to me and that I use on pretty much every shoot that I'm running a really high-end camera on is Athos Insurance. Check it out. It's super easy to get a quote, super easy to purchase, and really easy to get a COI in the rental company's name. So you can deliver that COI as you're picking up that camera. My last tip is when you're on set with this camera, make sure you get lots of pictures with the camera because it's awesome. You're gonna be super stoked that you're using the camera of your dream for the first time, and you wanna have memories of that experience, and you wanna be able to post those photos all over the place so people know that you can shoot on RED. People know that you can shoot on ARRI. It's all about the image that you're putting off, and people are like, hey, like that guy's using really cool cameras. He's definitely a sick DP. I'm gonna hire that guy. So make sure you take like a ton of photos. It sounds silly, but actually do it. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I know it is, a super nerve-wracking experience. It's super overwhelming with all the things that you have to put together for this shoot. Renting a brand new camera, not knowing how to do it is something that's gonna add a lot to your plate, but in the end, it's super worth it. It's a super awesome experience, and then the next time you go to do it, you're better prepared for the next shoot. If you have further questions, if you're ever about to rent a camera and you don't know what to do, send me an email. My email will be in the description below. If you don't have the budget to rent an awesome camera, don't worry about it. Like, shoot with what you have, use proper lighting techniques. But at the end of the day, like, everyone wants to shoot on a cool camera because it's fun. And yeah, that's all I got for you. See you next time, guys. Bye.